Why? What happened?
Cause nothing happened. I just got bored.
Okay. How about you?
Yes.
What happened?
I lose interest too quick.
Yeah, so I visited University of Florida while I was dating someone at home, and I cheated on my boyfriend.
They pay money, they car, they house. By that time we're...
Hey, welcome back to another episode of Making a Case. We're on episode 218. I'm your host, Dr. Jacob Isom. We got two channel norms over here. One, we'll take points in our people. Then two, we don't do all that cussing and fussing and derogatory stuff. We like to keep it professional over here. Now, can you guess what we're talking about in today's episode? You guessed it. We're talking about why men are not approaching women like they used to. Okay. Now I will say this is kind of a topic that has been brought to the forefront a lot by women, right? Because they're noticing that, guys aren't approaching them like they used to. And I'll be honest, it's rare, even before this really became a topic, it's rare that I would really approach a woman in person. It's just because that, to be honest with you, all type of stuff, I'm so analytical, all type of stuff just go through my head, like, why am I doing this? Will it be worth it? All kind of stuff, right? She would really have to be drop dead gorgeous in order for me to do so. But I'll give you some other reasons why men kind of I don't know if I should do this anymore. One huge factor or reason why a man might not be willing to approach is because he's weighing the pros and the cons. Okay. Kind of what I was just mentioning, right? Okay. If I come to this person's life, is it going to benefit me? Right. Or if I try to get their number, are they gonna curve me? Or are they gonna say, I'll give you my Instagram? Like, are they gonna be playing these games? Like, nowadays it's just a whole rigmarole of, trying to get to know somebody. And you could be genuinely want to get to know them, right? And then women with all these high standards, they want to be taken to the 5-star restaurants and all this stuff. Like, all these factors kind of go into why. And don't even get me started on being out at like a bar or a club, right? Because that's when women really like to show out, right, in front of their friends, or they like to call your names and stuff like that. So men is like, man, I don't got time for it, right? Which is the reason why, let's just be real, a lot of people are going on dating apps, right? It kind of take away the rejection part. And I'm not saying that men fear rejection. Some men may very well do that, but for the most part, men don't feel rejected. We get rejected all the time, right? And I'm not just talking about with women, talking about when it comes to jobs and just in general, right? So it's a lot of different factors why. Plus the Me Too movement, right? That put a damper on things, right? Women can just say that you did something that you clearly didn't do, but just an accusation can get you in trouble, get you fired, get you put in jail. And we don't have time for that. All right. So that's just some of the reasons why, or behind why, men haven't been approaching like they probably used to in the past. Not saying this still doesn't happen, but it has been tempered a little bit. Let's just say that. Okay. So today's episode, I have some videos for you that's going to break it down, and we're just going to have a conversation like we always do about this time. All right. I had to. All right. Let's get to our first clip.
The question: why men don't approach women anymore? Glad you asked. Let's get into it, family. Happy Saturday, everybody. Number one, the fear of rejection. Women today, as we know, have some unrealistic standards. Some women, unless he has a six-pack, 6 figures, and is 6 feet, you can't talk to him. Number two, it's not just about the fear of rejection. For some men, it's the fear of being labeled a creep or a predator because the man that's approaching you isn't your type. So because he's interested in you, he a creep? Come on now. Number three, online dating, which has made it so men don't have to get rejected in person. Number four, social media. Now you can just run up in somebody's DM. You don't have to have communication skills. I think all this technology and everything has made our communication skills terrible, y'all. Terrible. And last, we've seen how women will reject men in unnecessarily rude ways. It's okay to not be to try to embarrass them. Y'all, we gotta stop. All right, y'all. Here's a question.
And, when you look at all her different points. All of them lead back to rejection, right? Which is a part of that. I would never deny that there is a slight, and I wouldn't even say fear. Like rejection is gonna come, right? But if you don't shoot your shot, you never know if you even had the chance in the first place. But I kind of already mentioned a couple of things she said. Some women are just downright ugly when it comes to rejection, right? You can tell a man, no, you got a boyfriend, you're just not interested without all the theatrics, right? And you know, the other part that I mentioned was social media, right? Now you could just, like she said, just slide into somebody's DMs, right? And even if somebody leads you on red, it's rejection, but it don't feel like rejection, right? So that's part of it too. But what women also have to understand is just not just the rejection. It's that, okay, if I have you around, I'm going to be doing all this unnecessary stuff, right? You're going to have all of these standards. I'm going to be spending all this money. And is it going to be worth my time and my money? That's a huge part of the conversation that we got to now have. All right. And I'm sure we're going to reiterate that here in the next clips. All right. But shout out to Samantha Lee, sexy self. All right. Let's get back into it.
Women anymore. Let's talk about why. So the manosphere will say that it's because women have become impossible. They're too entitled, they're too quick to reject, men are terrified of getting Me Too'd, but that explanation is wrong, and it's keeping a lot of men stuck. The actual reason is that approaching a stranger takes a specific set of social skills. It requires tolerating awkwardness, handling no without freaking out, being willing to look a little bit cringe, and being willing to summon the courage in the first place. Those are skills that are built through practice, and an entire generation has grown up doing most of their social interaction through a screen, which means none of that practice has happened. The research on social skills backs this up. Like any skill, the ability to approach people degrades when it's not used. The muscles for in-person rejection, small talk with strangers, and reading a live face in real time are being used less than at any point in recorded history. Also, there is a cultural piece to this. Women are more alert in public spaces than they used to be. They're more on guard. Men who want to approach in a polite way are having to be more thoughtful about how their attention lands. That's not necessarily a bad thing, but it does make the old default of just go say hi more complicated than it once was. We should be accepting that some people will not want your attention, and that's not a personal insult. We should lead with curiosity instead of performance and be willing to be a little awkward. The men who are dating well right now are the ones who have made peace with the slightly uncomfortable, treating rejection as learning instead of a personal slight. And I think that's the real path forward, not the blame game that the manosphere is selling. Men are not approaching women.
Now we can clearly see what side he's on, right? Hey, and take that forever you want to take it, right? And he just regurgitating points that, of course, we already know, right? But it's funny how people will actually leave out factors of, like I've already been saying, that, well, it's not just that men aren't approaching because of rejection, right? That's the easy go-to, right? It's the fact that men aren't approaching because it's like, if I know that 9 times out of 10, this is not going to lead somewhere. It's not going to lead to a relationship. It's only going to lead to somebody upsetting my peace, right? Then I just don't want to do it. Right. That's the part. See, we leaving out the part of how the man is feeling or how men have been feeling. Right. He brings up the manosphere. Right. Well, if you're bringing up the manosphere, bring up the fact that the manosphere talk about these different talking points. If you're going to bring up rejection, then bring up the other points as well. Right. These male feminists kill me. It just is what it is. Right. But talk about it from both sides, but of course we know most people are not. All right, let's get to the next clip.
Be with a man is something that a lot of women on here is making me do, and I do not like it. So I expressed about how I was at the gym the other day, and after I was done with my workout, a guy came up to me, hand me a note, right? So in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, in this note, it's gonna probably have his number or his social media. I don't open it at the time. I put it in my bag. I said, I'll read it when I'm done with like the gym itself. So I go into my car after I'm done with my workout, and I look at the note. Matter of fact, let me fucking, where's the note? Where's the fucking note? Hold on. I have the note here. Actually, here it is. I have the note. It says respectfully. Oh, with all due respect, but as respectfully, you're incredibly beautiful. From Superman. So I thought, when I read that, I thought it was cute. It was flattering. I'm like, oh, this is really cute. Because again, a lot of dudes don't even, nobody's writing notes anymore. Nobody's writing letters or whatever the case. So I write about it. I say, hey ladies, how do you feel if X, Y, and Z? Now this is where I have the issue. You have women saying, why would he write Superman? Oh my God, if he wrote Superman, that is so cringe. You're a grown-ass man. Use your words. Somebody said, oh, I don't go to the gym to be called beautiful. I wouldn't like that. Why we always gotta be complimented on our looks? Like, people was just like, find something negative about it, right? Oh, why are we writing notes? Are we in second grade? And honestly, I can see why men don't really want to approach women. Because if he had just approached me mid-set or whatever the case and just talked to me, y'all would have had an issue about it. It's like, y'all always have something. There's like, it's just for some reason, y'all always have an issue with what men do. If you do, he do. If you don't, he don't. For some reason, he's still wrong. What is the problem? I don't know. Maybe we're all just in a fight or flight. But golly, I just simply don't get it. It's like men cannot win today, even if they're actually doing it the right way.
Sure, you.
And that's another side of the argument, right? The fact that if a man approach you in person, then he's a creep, right? He didn't use certain words, or he should have said this, he should have did that. If he try to find you on a dating app, well, then there's a reason behind that. If he go through your DMs, then you probably gonna get ignored, because a lot of men try to approach women through DMs. Like, so you're right, men can't win. Right? So it's like, if you do it in person, if you do it at the club or a bar, you weird. If you do it at the gym, you weird. People don't go to libraries no more because they read on everything online, right? If you do it in a grocery store, it's like, I'm trying to shop here. What are you doing? Okay. So it's like, I hear all these women complaining about men not approaching, but then I don't understand when and where and how men are supposed to approach, right? It's like, things used to be way more simpler, right? Way more organic, way more natural. Okay. Yes, social media and online. Yes, people have lost soft skills, social skills. I agree with all of that. But at the end of the day, men would like to know how. How would you like to be approached? Please give us the blueprint. Because clearly what we're doing is not working. All right. I got one more clip for you. We're going to wrap this up.
This girl that was like from Europe, and she was visiting Toronto, and she just was like, by the way, like, the men here, they just don't, like, they don't approach you, or like they'll find you attractive and just kind of like do nothing. And I was like, yeah, welcome to Toronto, sis.
Do y'all think that's a product of just society as a whole? Because American women have that same sentiment over the last 5-10 years, been vocal about men not approaching them. So now men are like, all right, well, y'all have been the loudest talking about y'all don't want men to approach us. Don't approach me. Don't talk to me if you see me in public. Like, so now we're following suit, and now it's like, well, y'all not trying to approach. I'm like, which one is it? Like,
I think it's how you approach, though. It's not always just about the. I think it's how you approach. Sometimes it comes off a little.
I think it's how attracted you are to the person when they approach you.
I notice women do that too. Like, if a man's not attracted and they approach them and they're not interested, they're like, oh, this guy's a creep. But if he's fine now and he comes and it's like, oh, okay, like, it's a little different. Yeah.
Struck up a conversation with this girl that was like,
you know what? She hit it right on the money, right? Or I think one of the guys actually brought it up. The fact that you're only a creep if she don't find you attractive. If she find you attractive, she gonna find ways to give you benefit of a doubt. It just is what it is, right? Pretty privilege is a real thing, right? So, and what we've known women to say and what the data says is that most women aren't attracted to men. So what that means is that most men that is going to shoot their shot at a woman is going to be rejected, is going to be turned away because she don't find most men attractive, right? And guess what? Most of the attractive men, they don't have to shoot their shot, right? They get women thrown at them in one way or another. They got plenty of options, right? So I think at the end of the day, that is what really is going on in the dating market, because the unattractive guys, or the guys that women think are unattractive, they have to shoot their shots. They have to go in DMs. They have to get on dating apps, right? And they got to go, because what you're going to find is that, and I hate to say it, it's just reality rap, right? You're going to find that unattractive women are always going to go for attractive men or men with money, right? Hypergamy is real, okay? But That's the same thing with unattractive men, right? They want a beautiful woman, right? But they're more likely to be with somebody on their desirability scale because they know, they understand it, right? They understand the game. But when you kind of go outside of your attractive level, that's when you start having problems. All right. But women typically aren't turning down men that they feel are attractive and they feel have money. That's just the game, right? So why aren't men approaching it anymore? Well, they aren't approaching because one, they're getting rejected in very disrespectful ways. Two, well, they get social media and DMs for that, right? It takes all the guesswork out there when you could just let me know in a message. All right. And the third big reason is that, hey, I know that more than likely this might not lead us nowhere. So why shoot my shot? Okay. Those are the three biggest takeaways that I have from the videos we watched. We're going to end it on that note. Let me know what you think. What do you think of some other reason men aren't approaching women, or do you think it's fair? Let me know in the comment. Hey, hit that like button for me, man. Share the video. I appreciate y'all. You already know what it is. I'm you, you and me. Love, always love, eternal. Remember, the worst thing you can do is lie to yourself. And we out. Deuces. One love.